Yes, it's day 6 of the World Cup, which means every single country in this tournament has played at least one game. And since I've watched every minute, minus the 90 minutes of France versus Australia, because that kicked off at 3 a.m. here, and don't bust my balls about it, okay? I like to sleep. Don't you like to sleep? Anyway, we got some stuff to talk about, so roll it. It's the very curious news. You can even understand what I'm saying when I'm talking this fast and amazing. Very curious news item. Number 1. Hey, Colombia. Can I have a word with you, please? First off, I picked you to win the group of death, Group H, based on the immense talent on your squad and your core of players being able to lean on the success that you had in the last World Cup. But less than 3 minutes into the game, a simple ball over the top was misplayed by one of your center backs, and it ended up leading to a dumpster fire of a situation, a penalty, and a red card. So at this point, I'm thinking, holy f***, your tournament could be over after only 3 minutes. And sure, that might be a little dramatic, but it's not true. You're down a man and a goal in the first game of a tough group, and your best player, James Rodriguez, didn't even start because of a calf injury. However, I'm not so sure that it was a real calf injury because James came on with 30 minutes left to go and looked great. So I want to learn a little bit more about what was really happening behind the scenes. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was self-preservation, as in, let's see if we can beat Japan without James and get him closer to 100% for the other 2 games. And okay, fine, I think that was it. So I'm gonna stop reading into things that probably aren't there. But anyway, despite the dumpster fire, Colombia scored on the slowest slow roller under the wall free kick that I have ever seen, which I would have expected a U10 goalkeeper to save, so a World Cup goalkeeper definitely should have saved it. But a hat tip to Colombia's Juan Quintero for being very, very clever. It was a good goal. And then I thought, way to go, Colombia, Colombia. I mean, way to dig yourself out of a tough situation and get it back to 1-1 and earn a point. But, and I can't even talk about this next part without getting emotional because they gave up the game-winning goal off of a corner kick. The one f***ing time that their disadvantage of being down a man doesn't matter because Japan is always gonna keep 1 or 2 players back to defend the counterattack, and they gave up a goddamn goal. It just, Defending set pieces is not about skill or how much talent you have. It's about desire and heart and the will to make the play and concentrating on following through on your job. You have to want it more than your opponent. And if Colombia do not get through the group, this goal is what I will point to as to why, not the red card. Very curious news item. Number 2, is Robert Lewandowski overrated? And I only ask because one of my friends, who happens to be a diehard Real Madrid fan, cannot stand him. He thinks he hasn't been top class since he took Borussia Dortmund to the Champions League final. What was that? 5 years ago? 2013. And that Lewandowski benefits from being on an exceptional Bayern Munich team who don't play in a very competitive league. And look, my friend tells me, he was non-existent for Poland today. Now, first off, my friend is being a little too dramatic. Lewandowski has the goals to prove his worth for both club and country since leaving Dortmund. I mean, they wouldn't have qualified for the World Cup for the first time since 2006 without his incredible contribution as being the leading scorer in all of UEFA. But I will agree that he had a minimal impact in the Senegal game. But in fairness to him, how is he supposed to know that his country would give up 2 unfortunate goals? The first one was an own goal. It happens, though Poland probably could have done a much better job of not letting the shot get off in the first place so it doesn't get deflected and go in the goal, but shots happen, and unfortunately, so do own goals. The second one, though, was, wow, I don't even know how to explain it other than the referees waved on an injured player to come back onto the field, which led to him gaining a pretty big advantage, all things considered, that led to a breakaway that then led to an open goal, which ended up being the game-winning goal after Poland scored late, which made the final score 2-1 in favor of Senegal. But I got 2 things to say about this. One, the pass that led to the breakaway was actually from one of Poland's midfielders who, for whatever reason, was trying to play the ball back to his goalkeeper from 60 yards away, which is, talk about defying logic. It pretty much epitomizes defying logic when he could have done so many other things with the ball. But even with him making this questionable decision, it still could have worked out for him, but he under-hit the pass. It wasn't hit hard enough, and that led to some hesitation from his teammates, but unfortunately for him and his teammates, and for the whole country of Poland, no hesitation from Senegal's Niang, and he opportunistically said, thank you very much. So I know the referees are now gonna take a ton of grief for giving an unfair advantage to Senegal, and that they should have waited to wave him on when the ball was out of bounds, etc. But For me, that isn't as important as to why this goal happened, which again is all about the player who made the decision to play the ball back to his goalkeeper, which, kids, is never a good idea from that position in the field. Okay, that is a life lesson. And his pass didn't even have enough on it to get to the goalkeeper in the first place. There are a ton of problems with this whole play, and it starts with him. 2, with all that being said, I thought Senegal was the better team and deserved to win. So again, the refs are going to be heavily criticized, but all things considered, the team that got the 3 points deserved the 3 points. So congrats to Senegal, who I picked to advance out of the group in my updated preview instead of Poland, and I am buzzing right now because I love being right. Way to go, champ. Very curious news item number 3. Have a safe flight home, Egypt. After finally playing and starting one of the world's best players, Mohamed Salah, in Egypt's second game against the host Russia, we learned that it's unfortunate that Mo can't play in every position on the field because his team wasn't good enough, especially on the defensive side of the ball as they got beat 3-1. Now I know they're not mathematically out of it because if Uruguay loses its next 2 games, they can still make it, but Uruguay plays Saudi Arabia tomorrow, and if match day 1 taught us anything, which, if you remember, saw the Saudis lose 5-0 to Russia, it says Saudi Arabia isn't very good. So I'm pretty sure the miracle that Egypt needs is not going to happen. So again, I want to wish them a very safe flight home. On the silver lining side of things, I'm sure Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool supporters are buzzing that Egypt is out because it's going to allow their best player to get 3 weeks of rest and get back to 100% so he can prepare for challenging for the title next season with Manchester City, which I definitely think that they will, especially if they finalize the Fekir deal and at the very least get a new goalkeeper. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Russia, who have been excellent in their first 2 games, earning 2 wins and a +7 goal differential, and who definitely booked their ticket to the round of 16, where they will most likely play Spain or Portugal, which might not feel fair to them to have to play one of those 2 countries after performing so well in the group stage, but what did they expect when they have had one of the easiest groups in tournament history? They're gonna have to face somebody with quality at some point. However, fun fact for you, the last 3 countries that hosted the tournament and had better than a +5 goal differential after their first 2 group games, Uruguay in 1930, who had a +5, Italy in 1934, who had a +6, and France in 1998, who had a +7, well, they all went on to win the whole tournament, so no pressure, Russia, but we're all counting on you to make sure history repeats itself. And all right, that is it. That is all I got. So keep fighting the good fight. Thank you for your continued support. Hit me up on Twitter or catch my Coach Jimmy stories on Instagram. I think you'll like those. Then hit like and subscribe because that would mean a lot to me. And finally, I'll see you tomorrow. Later.